and welcome back to Recap. Today we are going to recap a 2013 action thriller movie titled Parker. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. Parker, a master thief, lives by a rigid code of honor, never preying on the needy or hurting the innocent. Arriving at the Ohio State Fair for a heist, he dons a priest's guise, setting the stage for the job while awaiting his crew. The team includes Hardwick, Carlson, Melander, and Ross. Melander and Ross, dressed as clowns, start prepping the robbery. Meanwhile, Parker, still in character, is roped into helping a young girl pop balloons to score a stuffed bear. When the break-in is set, Melander releases a balloon as the cue, which Parker spots instantly. Hardwick, meant to be on lookout, gets sidetracked by a tent of women changing for the fair. Parker catches it and sharply pulls him back to task. Parker then moves to the security office, maintaining his priest act while scoping the space. Abruptly, Ross bursts from the floor, gun in hand, sparking pandemonium. Parker shoves a guard inside, draws his own weapon, and locks the door. The crew disarms the officers and charges into the cashier's room, barking orders for everyone to hit the floor and obey. Parker tells the cashiers to ditch their phones and outlines his moral code. Outside, Carlson, posing as a guard, waits in the escape truck, while Hardwick ignites a hay bale with 2 flare sticks. Unseen, one stick rolls free. Inside, a guard starts to panic. Ross moves to quiet him with force, but Parker steps in, soothing the man with calm words. "Trust me, Ben. It's gonna be a fine night." Meanwhile, the fire creeps perilously close to fuel tanks. Melander begins cutting into the safe to grab the cash. As he works, Parker thinks of his girlfriend, Claire, and her father, Hurley, a retired crook and his mentor. One safe cracks open, revealing piles of money, thrilling Melander. Flashbacks show Hurley pitching the job to Parker at a backyard cookout, calling it a 5-man gig with a crew. Though Parker doesn't know the others, Hurley vouches for Melander, a partner from 20 years back, and puts Parker in charge. Back in the heist, the second safe yields. As flames hit the stage where folks are dancing, chaos erupts, the fire driving the crowd to flee. Predictably, the fuel tanks start exploding, plunging the fair into mayhem. Carlson swings the truck around and the crew hurriedly loads the stolen cash. Parker sheds his disguise, livid when he sees how far the fire spread. Later, he confronts Hardwick over the blunder. Hardwick shrugs it off as minor, prompting Parker to slug him hard.
Someone gets hurt, cops come after us.
Furious, his orders were ignored and worried the police are already closing in. Parker watches as Carlson, Melander, and Ross roll up. They swiftly shift the cash to another car, ditching the security truck and peeling out. Celebrating their haul, Melander pitches Parker on a diamond heist, a high-stakes job needing the whole team. Got an inside man. It's the score of a lifetime. But Parker's not biting. He wants his cut from this job and plans to walk. The crew tries to sway him, but Parker holds firm. Irked, Melander signals his men to kill Parker. Carlson subtly reaches for his pistol, and Ross grips his shotgun. Parker clocks it and reacts. As they move, he redirects the shotgun, the blast hitting Carlson, who's driving. The car erupts in chaos as they grapple to overpower Parker. With Carlson down, Melander grabs the wheel to avoid a wreck. In the fray, he fires at Parker, but Parker dives through a shattered window. The impact sends him rolling down the road, bloodied. Melander halts the car, eyeing his battered crew. The bullet only nicked Carlson's ear, so he's alive. Melander hands Hardwick a gun, ordering him to finish Parker. Hardwick argues they should flee, claiming Parker's probably done. Grudgingly, Hardwick steps out, approaching Parker, who's barely conscious. He kicks him in the gut and shoots. The force rolls Parker toward a nearby lake's edge. Hardwick darts back to the car, and the crew speeds off, abandoning Parker. Soon, a family driving by spots Parker's body. They stop, rush over, and see he's clinging to life. Loading him into their truck, Parker fades in and out, recalling the soft moment with Claire in the shower, where he told her he avoids hospitals no matter the injury. Awake, the farmer assures Parker they're hospital-bound before he blacks out again. Later, he wakes post-surgery, catching a news report on the fair heist, which sadly claimed lives in the fire. Still frail, Parker yanks out his IVs, alarming an elderly patient nearby. The man tries to summon a nurse, but Parker stops him. Hearing an orderly near, Parker lies back down. The orderly tends to the older patient, who insists he check Parker. As the orderly turns, Parker swiftly chokes him out. Glancing outside, Parker sees police arriving. He strips the orderly, donning his scrubs as a disguise. To blend in, he wheels the elderly patient out, quietly warning him to stay silent, promising freedom at the exit. They slip past police and the doctor discussing Parker's case. At the entrance, Parker bids the patient well, then hops into an ambulance and drives off. After gaining distance, he stashes the ambulance in bushes and starts self-medicating. On a stretcher with a drip, he replays the crew's betrayal, vengeance brewing. Looks like payback's coming. Once stronger, Parker hits a small motel, breaks into a room, and swipes items, including a gun. He takes off in another stolen car. On the road, he calls a contact, Vince, requesting documents, assuring him payment's covered since he's got a new gig lined up. Parker pulls into a diner, spotting men slipping through a back door. He follows, corners one, and holds him at gunpoint, demanding cooperation. The man reaches for his weapon, but Parker's quicker, shooting him in the leg. The power shifts instantly. The injured man, Nate, realizes Parker's not to be trifled with. Parker grills him, and Nate spills about his associate, Lucas. Without delay, Nate leads Parker to Lucas's place. Lucas opens the door, gun drawn, but Parker's prepared. Nate warns Lucas to stand down, saying Parker won't hesitate to shoot, knowing their vests won't save them. He begs Lucas to comply, wanting a hospital before he bleeds out. On Parker's order, Lucas takes him to a back room. Look, Nate, get to the other room. I need cash. Parker binds them and grabs some money. Lucas tries to scare Parker, warning he'll get caught, but Parker's unfazed. He glances at Nate, apologizes for the shot, and vows to call medics shortly after leaving. A thief with a conscience, he exits, steals another car, and drives on. His next stop is a low-key shop where he meets Vince, who shares a mutual ally with Parker. Vince is amazed at Parker's quick cash, and Parker gets to it, asking for Ford's papers, a new license, birth record, and essentials. With the deal in motion, Parker phones Hurley, updating him on the betrayal and asking him to tell Claire he'll be away longer. Then he shifts gears, demanding Melander's location. Hurley, concerned, empathizes but cautions that chasing Melander is risky. Melander's tied to heavy hitters, and stirring trouble could get ugly. Parker doesn't care about Melander's ties. Hurley mentions Hardwick's uncle, Danziger, a ruthless Chicago mobster. Still, Parker's unmoved. He demands a lead. Give me a name. Seeing Parker's resolve, Hurley relents, handing over the crew's details. That night, Parker hits a crowded bar, approaching the entrance to ask for Bobby Hardwick, Hardwick's brother. The bouncer blocks the VIP area, so Parker lies, claiming Danziger sent him. When the guard's briefly distracted, Parker strikes, knocking him out and slipping into the VIP section. He storms in, demanding Hardwick's whereabouts. Bobby scoffs until Parker lands solid hits. Stunned, Bobby reels from Parker's nerve, but Parker stays cool. Pinning Bobby down, he extracts Hardwick's location. A guard bursts in, firing at Parker, who vanishes in a blur. Leaving the bar, Parker calls Claire, getting voicemail. He warns her danger's near and to contact a travel agent tomorrow. Next, he calls Hurley, urging him to prep for a trip. Meanwhile, in Florida, Leslie, a cash-strapped real estate agent living with her domineering mom, Ascension, gets ready for work. At the same time, Melander's crew is in Florida, gearing up for their next score. Hardwick gets a call from Bobby, learning Parker's alive. Furious, Hardwick smashes his phone and tells the team. Melander, incensed, lunges at Hardwick, demanding how Parker survived a gunshot. Kroll, a hitman and new team member, stops Melander from shooting, noting it's a 5-man job. Melander orders Hardwick to fix it with whatever muscle he can muster. Meanwhile, Hurley readies his family to hide, knowing Danziger's volatility. At home, Claire is shaken, but composed. Hurley comforts her before leaving. As he exits, Kroll, stalking the house, picks the locked front door Claire just secured. Knife in hand, he creeps upstairs, but Claire hears him. Acting fast, she distracts him and escapes via a rope ladder from her window. By the time Kroll reaches the ground floor, Claire slashed his tires and sped off. Terrified but sharp, she calls Parker, voice quaking, recounting the intrusion. Parker directs her to a safe spot. Though she doubts he'll return, she complies. Parker meets Hurley, who's worried about Claire. Parker assures him she's safe, easing Hurley's fears. Parker asked about a job in Palm Beach. Hurley says it's a dead zone for deals, but Parker's unbothered. Hurley mentions Danziger offered a payoff for Parker, but Parker rejects it flat. Hurley's uneasy. He wishes Parker would settle down with Claire, but Parker's set on his path. They agree to scout a place in Palm Beach. Leslie, desperate for a win, swipes a client file from a colleague's desk. The name, Daniel Parmit, is Parker's alias. Leslie meets Mr. Parmit, who plays the part with a slick Texas drawl. Later, Parker drives to a lakeside cabin where Claire waits. She's emotional, relieved to see him. As she changes his bandages, she shares her fear. Parker softly offers her an out, but she stays quiet. The next morning, Leslie tours Parker through homes. They bond over past divorces. She shows him a property bought by a Mr. Rodrigo. Parker finds it odd, but keeps it to himself. Leslie drops him at his hotel, shyly asking to hang out later. Parker declines, citing other plans. Alone, he reviews home photos, zeroing in on Rodrigo's place. At home, Leslie spots discrepancies in Mr. Parmit's account. A notice about her repossessed car sours her mood. That night, Parker sneaks to the suspicious property, finding it's his old crew's hideout. Hiding in bushes, he waits as they drive off, then slips inside. He prowls, planting guns under tables. In their car, Melander and Hardwick bicker about Parker. Elsewhere, Kroll ambushes Vince. who denies knowing Parker. Kroll knifes him. Meanwhile, Parker's in Melander's house pulling weapons from a hidden cache. Hearing their car return, he slides under the closing garage door, escaping unseen. On the road, Leslie waits in her car. She offers a private spot, but Parker pins her, demanding who knows her location. She swears no one does, and he drives off. Leslie presses, airing suspicions about his shadowy past and lack of records. At her office, she sips wine, venting about life, and offers to aid his plan. He tells her to strip, not for romance, but to check for a wire. Take off your clothes. Startled, she complies, touting her value. Parker eyes her, but stays focused, telling her to dress and that he'll consider her offer before leaving. Next day, Parker tails Melander, spotting him with a man. Hiding behind a paper, he recalls Melander's brutal betrayal. Later, Jake meets Leslie, noting her distraction. She fibs about a lottery ticket, worrying Jake. Parker calls, lifting her spirits. She rushes to meet him at a condo, leaving Jake behind. Overhearing, Jake tails her in his cruiser, ignoring a radio alert. Who can fault love's blind pull? At the condo, Leslie flirts. They kiss, but Parker refocuses, outlining his mission. She realizes he's targeting Melander's crew. Learning the target is Miss Clendon's jewels, she panics. Sure, it'll flop, and wants out. Parker coaxes her help, softening her. They drive off. Leslie details the jewels' worth and points out Miss Clendon's grand estate. Parked nearby, 2 guards approach, warning it's private land. Parker apologizes and pulls away. Sorry, guys, just sightseeing. That morning, auction prep and the heist align. Melander's crew blends with staff working undercover. Melander scopes the scene, setting plans in motion. Leslie quizzes Parker on his thief's life. He says everyone steals, some just own it. She guides him to a back entrance, and he spots Melander's team. Parker drops Leslie off, telling her to head to her office. At the condo, Parker plots. A Kroll stabs him. Savage brawl erupts. Glass breaks, wood cracks, metal clangs. Kroll wounds Parker badly until Parker hurls him, smashing Kroll's head into the tub. Thinking it's done, Parker turns, but Kroll charges with a knife. They grapple on the balcony, teetering. Kroll clings to Parker, but Parker boots him off, sending him crashing down. Parker pulls himself up, bloodied but alive. Early next morning, Jake visits Leslie, probing about Mr. Parmit. As she answers, she spots blood on her floor. Sensing Parker's presence, she covers, wiping blood before Jake notices. Jake mentions the hotel incident and Mr. Parmit's escape. Leslie plays up the risks of her job alone with men like Parmit. Seeing his dire state, Leslie begs him to abandon the mission, urging Claire to reason with him. Claire says it's futile. Before leaving, Claire softly kisses Parker, leaving Leslie devastated. Claire warmly embraces Ascension and exits. Parker tells Leslie to get back to work to avoid Jake's suspicion, making her huff in disbelief. Meanwhile, Melander's crew gears up for the robbery. Disguised in a paramedic van, they set out and wait. That evening, the auction kicks off. Rich attendees pack the venue, eager to bid. As the opening remarks start, explosives detonate. Pandemonium breaks out, guests scrambling to escape. The van pulls up outside, but it's no rescue. It's the robbers. Melander's team, still in disguise, storms in, seals off exits, and plunders the displayed jewels. Hardwick, posted on a boat, gets a signal and readies for pickup. Just then, harbor police approach, ordering him to clear out. Quick-witted, Hardwick stalls with excuses, buying critical time for his crew to wrap up and slip away. Soon, real firefighters arrive, entering the building and realizing a theft has occurred. The situation spirals fast. The whole island goes into lockdown. Cops, Coast Guard, drones, every asset deployed. Leslie watches the chaos unfold, knowing who's behind it. Without a second thought, she makes a gutsy move. She goes after Parker. Meanwhile, Parker's slipped into the gang's hideout, lying in wait with weapons he stashed earlier. Leslie peers through a window as the crew returns, unloading sacks of diamonds. But Hardwick catches her, dragging her to the others. Melander immediately suspects Parker sent her, despite his team's protests. Hardwick slugs her, but Melander yanks him back, grilling Leslie about Parker's location. She swears she knows nothing. Melander orders a house sweep. Upstairs, Parker's already moving. Silent as a specter, he takes out Ross first. 1 down, 3 to go. Carlson and Hardwick report back to Melander, claiming the house is clear. Melander calls for Ross, but silence answers. He sends Hardwick to look, then steps out, leaving Carlson to watch Leslie with a gun trained on her. While Melander's distracted, Leslie stealthily grabs a hidden pistol from under the table and, in a frenzy, unloads it into Carlson. Meanwhile, Melander and Parker collide in a savage brawl. As Melander gains ground, Parker rips out the gun's magazine and jams a blade into his throat. The swift strike shifts the fight, and Parker finishes Melander. Hearing Leslie scream, he rushes to her. Hardwick's got her at gunpoint. Hardwick threatens Parker, but Parker taunts him, knowing the gun's empty. When Hardwick pulls the trigger to no effect, Parker acts fast, grabs Leslie, and reminds Hardwick of his blunder on their first job before gunning him down. Leslie guides Parker out of the house. In the car, they marvel at the stolen gems. Parker tells her to wait a week before shipping them to a locker in Chicago. A clever play to shield them both. He cautions her to be careful with the cash, where she stashes it, and how she spends it. Then he leaves to rejoin Claire, stinging Leslie's heart just a bit. 6 months later, Parker takes out his last target, Danziger. A year later, Leslie gets a package with the first payment they settled on. Parker also sends funds to the farmer who saved him, clearing his debts and leaving his family elated. The value of a film lies in its reputation, but the meaning of a film is found in its understanding. It doesn't end here. What did you think about this movie? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting recaps. See you next time.